Well, it's definitely nice to have a tractor with a loader on it to help with these situations. So got some chamois cloths on here to keep anything from getting scratched, but I got the starter reinstalled, alternator, the oil filter. I changed the oil. I had several new belts on order for this. Again, as with everything, I don't know what it is online. Nobody can get you the right size belts for stuff. So anyway, I did end up getting the number off here. It's a Mitsubishi belt, REMF-1345. So that's the old belt. It's gonna stay for now. I ordered a new one, but it won't be here for a few days. I don't have a few days. I want to get this engine in today. So I'm gonna bring you on the side, show you what I got prepped, and then we'll use Bozo to bring the engine to the skid steer. So you can see I did a lot of cleaning up through here and removed everything that was hanging on this side that was white. Got the arms kind of pushed off to the side, moved the fenders over here, and got the cylinders down. Now I wish ultimately that I probably could if I had another person help me bring the loader and drop the engine from the front here over these sticks, but you know, with clearance issues and by myself, last thing I want to do is mess something up. So basically got some cardboard set down here. I'm just gonna come to, at least to this point, get the engine down here, and I'll move it back here and put it in through the back. So I've got the nuts and washers off the motor mounts. Got my official Bobcat hydraulic filter in there. Anyway, yeah, the engine just plops right in here from the back, so should be pretty easy. Alright, I'm not going to video me manhandling this engine over here and putting it in the back. You know, I feel bad. I don't want to be showing off, you know, these guns and all. So just trust in the process, and you'll see it here installed in a second. Not too bad at all. Minimal damage too. I got a little scuff here, and a little bit there, but there's going to be plenty of touch-up work to do. Now I may be partial because this thing is mine, but damn, that looks good. That blue Kubota paint really contrasts well with this white Bobcat. Yeah, buddy. D722. Alright. I'm going to stop admiring here and get the nuts and washers installed on there, and get the exhaust back on and start putting this thing together. Loader arms, fenders. I'm gonna hopefully get this thing together by today. May not be running and driving today, but it's gonna be together today. The roll cage, that's another story. I'm definitely gonna need another body here with me to help me get it flipped back around, and then it actually has to kind of go a little high and set down onto some mounts that are on the front, and it was a pain getting it off by myself, and I can imagine putting it on is going to be even worse. Plus, I don't want to scratch the paint, so that might have to wait for another day. Alright, moving along. Got a little orange on here. Got the muffler installed with the new gasket, the rear guard, and bam! Got some new shoes for this old girl. It's coming along. Kind of looks like a moon rover. Get a better shot of the wheels over here. Yeah. It's looking good. So right now I'm working on getting, spin you around, these hard hydraulic lines. I've got to get mounted up here with the fuel tank, and then I need to get the bucket control valve that gets bolted in. Those hard lines hook up to these back here, and then I can get the seat on, I can get the console on with the foot pedals, get those linkages adjusted, and get the loader arms on. The bucket is put together, except for the roll cage, which again, I'm going to need some help with that. Of course, I still have some more to do with the engine. I've got to get all the coolant lines hooked up, the radiator installed, the wiring. Let's see, what else? I think that's about it. Anyway, just wanted to give you a quick update, and see you back in a minute. Well, I think that's going to do it for today. it's actually starting to look like a skid steer again. So obviously I still have the roll cage, I still have the bucket. I did put these chain hooks and D-rings on here, so those will be helpful for lifting stuff. But yeah, here we go. Got the wheels on, got the arms on, all the controls. Now these foot controls are for loader operations, and the left one is for your loader up and down, and that springs back fine. The right one is for the bucket roll and tilt, and it likes to stick. So I'm thinking I might have some issues with the what are those things called? The valve plungers. So I got some grease on there. I know they're really not supposed to be grease. There's supposed to be rubber boots on here. Those are gone. So I might have to end up rebuilding that valve assembly, because I don't like having controls that stick. And I'm willing to bet that when we start it up, it might leak from there. So I got the seat installed. I got the nice cushy hand grips installed. All the hoses up to this point are in. So basically I've got to put the lift cylinder on each side, which are over there, and then the roll and tilt cylinders for the bucket will go in the front. Of course the bucket goes on, and then the roll cage. That's it. I do have to put the radiator in the back and the quick attach coupling in the front. You can see I've got the tank mounted now. I got a wing nut over here to secure my gate that swings on these hinges. I still have to go through and hook up the fuel lines, the air filter, and of course all the wiring. Temporarily right now I only have the drive belt on. I don't have the hydraulic pump, because once I get the wiring complete on this, I want to do kind of one step at a time. So we'll obviously start the machine, make sure everything is running properly, nothing's catching on fire, and make sure that the drive mechanisms are working properly. You know, I did go through and adjust the clutches a little bit, so we might need to make some tweaks on that. And once it's running and I know everything moves okay, in fact what I'll probably end up doing is getting it off the, it's still on cribbing right now, so I can run it when the tires aren't going to hit the ground. But anyway, I'll get it off the cribbing, and I'll probably move it out into the front, out from under the canopy here, to put the roll cage on. It's just going to be so much easier to just have two people lift it up and move it over. Sorry I'm moving you around like you're the roll cage. But and then once that's on, I can bring it back in again. We'll get the belt on for the hydraulics, and we'll go through that, because I can't purge the hydraulics lifting the loader arms in here anyway. It's just not tall enough. So I'm gonna need it mobile first to get it out into the yard where we can lift it and purge and see what happens. Hopefully we don't have any leaks. We shouldn't have anything. Got all brand new hoses. All the hard lines looked good. I got all new clamps down in there on the little, I call it the brain valve. It's kind of your suction relief and whatnot. But anyway, pretty happy with how things have turned out so far. Like I said, really don't have a whole lot left. And throw some decals on it and call her done. Alright, well, I think today is going to be the day we go for the first start. So a couple things. One, I had to change the throttle. I used to have one of those old, it was like a wire inside of a spring cable. They're not junk. They're okay for certain applications. Once you start making too many bends and turns, they just get really hard to move and actuate. So I bought this one off Amazon. It's for one of those Chinese mini excavators, and it's got a gear section here with a thumb throttle which locks it into certain positions, which is awesome. It works really good. So it has the clevis and pin that goes into the arm like it's supposed to. So of course it's loose right now, but it works amazing. I put another return spring on here just to make sure it would go back. Some other things that I ran into, the fuel tank, I had this cutout valve, was facing straight down, and when I would close the door with the radiator, the top of the radiator was hitting that. Now I never mocked up the tank with the radiator. I should have done that and I didn't, so that was an issue. Not a problem. Fortunately I had a 90-degree elbow in here, so function wise it works. It's not exactly the aesthetics I was going for, but it is what it is. Now the other final concern I had was the throttle cable. I had to make this bracket and weld this on. It used to have this, like, I don't know, like a V that would hold this threaded portion of the cable. It was over here and it was too close. It just didn't work. So I cut that off, made this extension, welded it on, and it kind of sticks a little bit further back. Again, I thought I had enough clearance. So on the radiator, they used to have the electric fan mounted to the front, and when I would close this door, the fan hit the bracket. So now I've got the fan on the outside and I just have to wire it to pull the other direction. So it's going to pull through the radiator instead of blowing through it, which again isn't a big deal. I do have to extend the wires so that I can get this tucked underneath, and it wasn't really the look I was going for, but again, what are you going to do? You know, I'm so far into this thing to this point. To fix that, in order to get this fan back to the front, basically I'd have to cut these hinges off and put it back to just having studs like I have over here, having the 4 studs. That's how it was originally, and ultimately that's probably how I should have just left it, because having the studs I could have put spacers on to push that cage out further. Now who knows, I may end up deciding to do like a little retro mod later and change that. But for right now, this is what we got. You know, obviously you worry about hitting that damage. It's just a plastic fan, but it's cheap enough, and I think we're gonna be all right. I might have made my zip ties a little tight. Yep, fan's not gonna turn. All right, so I got some more mods to do there. Anyway, I'm not running this with the coolant yet. I have everything wired. I think everything should be good to go. So kind of baby steps with this, starting for the first time. Obviously, want to make sure you have a fire extinguisher around. First thing I'm going to do is put some fuel in here and check my fuel system, make sure there's no leaks, and then we'll go ahead and prime everything. Now it did run last. I'm hoping I shouldn't have to vent off the injectors or anything, but that may be the case too. So get the fuel system primed. Again, we're going to run it just for a short amount of time without the coolant, just to make sure that everything's good as far as fuel, wiring. I have 2 separate buttons now. You can see over here, so you'll turn your key to the on position. It's going to power up your fuel pump, the cooling fan, everything is going to go. You'll hit this glow plug button. That's going to obviously energize your glow plugs for about 30 seconds, and then we'll hit the start. We'll turn the key to start it. When it comes time to shut everything down, you just hit the stop button and it's going to energize the fuel shutoff solenoid, and then you can shut the key off, which will shut off the fan and the fuel pump. So that's where we're at. So I'm going to put some fuel in this thing, go for the start, make sure the wiring's good, everything turns on, turns off, no fuel leaks, no oil leaks, and if everything's good with that, then I'll go ahead and hook up all the hoses. We'll put some coolant in, run it again, make sure there's no coolant leaks, and then at that point, well, I'll take it off the cribbing and move it out to the front so that I can lift the boom and purge the air out of the system. So right now I only have the belt on for the drive system. I do not have the belt for the hydraulics because, again, starting these things for the first time, you want to have to deal with things one at a time instead of having this cascading crisis of a bunch of stuff going on. So once I know that the engine runs good, there's no fuel leaks, there's no coolant leaks, and everything's good, like I said, I'll pull it out from under the canopy here, because the last thing I want to do is have the arms going up, maybe the control valve sticky or something, and blow through my roof. So at least if it's out there, out from cover, I'll be fine. So we'll throw the belt on, put the arms and bucket through its motions, get all the air purged out of the hydraulic system, and hopefully, knock on wood, everything's good. I am not sure about the hydraulic pump. It's untested. I have not seen that or used that yet. The engine's going to run. I'm not too worried about that. The other thing is the control valve, as far as if it works, if it sticks, if it leaks. There is not a rebuild kit for it, so if it leaks, I'm going to have to pull the spool out and go to a hydraulic shop, and just hopefully they can match everything up. best we can. So, all right, well, let's get going and see if this thing will run. All right, cooling fan's working. Fuel pump is working. Filter's filled. And the fuel supply is on. Knock on wood, no leaks. Everything's good. I got my fuel return going back to the tank. You might be able to see it recirculating back in there. So we're good with that. Other thing I do want to check is my fuel shutoff solenoid. So I'm going to put you right here. See if we can reach over there and get that. Right, it's good. It's sticking. Why it's sticking, I don't know. Maybe that throttle cable. Alright. I've got a red cap on here too, so that I know in an emergency reach for the red to manually shut that off if I need to. But that all seems good, so go for a start here. Glow plugs, throttle. Watch your feet in case the wheels move. Should be alright. Throttle cable touching the belt. Alright, that'll work for now. My solenoid isn't working for some reason. Alright, try it again. Looks good. Fuel shutoff's not working for some reason. I don't understand. When I turn it on, it actuates and kind of sticks. I think it might be getting caught up in this throttle. Might be past the outside pin. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Alright, get that pin swapped so it won't rub on the tire. And I made an adjustment over here to the, let's see, I put the fuel cable on the outer hole, and then I made an adjustment here on the solenoid to pull it back so it'll actually pull a little harder on it. So you can see here, it works a little better. Fuel off, run, off, run, off, run. So let's start it and see if it works. Lots of trial and error. Now the true test. So I ran it. I've got all the coolant hooked up to it. I ran it, got it up to temp. Everything's nice and warm. Knock on wood, no fuel leaks, no coolant leaks, no oil leaks, no hydraulic leaks. Now remember, I do not have the hydraulic belt hooked up, so there is no hydraulic functions yet. Right now I just want to be able to get it off the cribbing and get it driving back and forth and steering, making sure it's maneuverable. And if that's the case, then I'll pull it out from pull it out from under the lean-to, hook up the hydraulic belt, run the system, raise and lower the boom, cycle everything, and get the air out of the system. Once I know all that's good, then should be able to put the bucket and the cage on. So I don't think I'm going to do all that today. I am going to get it off the blocks and at least to move it around a little bit. I'll probably wait till tomorrow or the next day to dig into the hydraulics. I don't want to go too crazy all in one day. Plus I want to let this sit for the night, make sure coolant doesn't start leaking or anything like that. So the only wonky thing is obviously the throttle. It still isn't hooked up to anything. It's going to be in the cage, so I just have to deal with that. I'm just going to keep it at idle anyway. So let's go ahead and get this thing off the blocks and see it move under its own power for the first time. I know y'all probably think I'm crazy when I tell you this is nerve-wracking, but this is like the most stressful part of these builds because I've had this thing since November. It's now May, and I've never seen this thing move under its own power besides being on the cribbing and turning the wheels. So that's going to be a first. And I've never seen the hydraulics work, so kind of taking a risk there too. Does the hydraulic pump even work? Does the control valve work? Is it going to spray hydraulic fluid everywhere? I don't know. Obviously I rebuilt the 4 cylinders. It's got all new hoses, so we should be good there. I'm jumping ahead. We ain't even moved this thing yet. Hydraulics aren't even hooked up. So let's go ahead and start this and do some back and forths and some steering and see how it goes. Fingers crossed. First time even sitting in it since it's been painted. Alright, still warm, shouldn't have to do glue plugs.